Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us for a quick 15-minute chat on the impact of remote work and hybrid workplaces on the onboarding of new employees onto employee benefits. It's going to be a very practical, operational type of discussion, and we're very glad to have you here with us today. Let's start creating context and what is happening within your clients when it comes to onboarding new employees. So let's look at the current environment. So firstly, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. There's been a massive impact on COVID on working from home. Various reports came out about how both employees and employers have moved to a remote work situation. Regis said that half of employees now report that they work at least 2.5 days away from the office. And we have more recently seen that many companies, including South African companies like Nedbank and Standard Bank, has now already announced that there's going to be a hybrid working environment post-COVID. Meaning, if you work for Standard Bank and for Nedbank, you won't necessarily need to come into the office 5 days a week. There's going to be various different arrangements. Now, the practical implication of that, of course, is if you need to onboard new employees, and which includes onboard new members onto employer benefits, everybody's not going to be in the office. You're going to have people that work from the office, people that's going to be at home. Everybody's not going to be at the same place at the same time. Maybe even more challenging is recruitment departments are now saying, in a hybrid working environment, if people don't have to come from the office, if I'm struggling to find a skill, I can actually employ someone that's not based in the same province or maybe not even in the same country. So you're going to get more and more big organizations that will employ people that might sit in either remote areas or not even in the same country. And those people might also need to be onboarded in a specific way. Another change that has happened, this one has happened a bit more slowly over the past couple of years, is the changing of demographic breakdown. So we all know it, but there's a practical implication of this. So the United Nations said that by the end of 2020, 41% of the global population will be 24 years or younger. Ernst & Young, there's a report from them that says by 2025, millennials will comprise 3/4 of the global workforce. What the impact is of that is that millennials and the younger generations interact with the environment quite differently. They like to work on videos. They're used to gamification and game-based. User experience is extremely important for them. If it's a bad experience, they totally get disengaged. If you want to keep their attention, if you want to keep them engaged, you need to create a good user experience, and that is the impact of that. Another interesting that I want to throw in here is that in the current environment, there's a study by Kantar. Kantar is similar to Nielsen that does market research, but they have found that 71% of people in the ages between 35 and 55 play mobile games on a weekly basis. So they're familiar with games and gamification working their mobile phones. Quite interesting that I found in the study that 43% of people that ages over 55 also play games with a similar frequency. Meaning that gamification or people playing games with mobile phone is not just a generational thing anymore, but you even see your older generations now entertaining themselves and engaging with games on mobile phones or in other various ways. This is showing the size of the gaming market. The global gaming market is 4 times bigger than Hollywood and 3 times bigger than the music industry. So it shows you, if we could look at how people are spending their money, it tells you how they engage with the environment. And in this way, we can almost say that people are 4 times more likely to spend their time, even if it's 5 minutes, if they want to just chill for a bit, on a mobile game than listening to music or even watching videos via Hollywood. And of course, games in business, there's many studies that have now found that the retention rate for game-based training is over 70% compared to just 5% for traditional delivering training. Why this is important, it basically means if you are going to do benefit education, whether it's for a provident fund or for medical aid, if you're still stuck into everybody goes into the same room, there's a PowerPoint presentation by a broker. Studies have now shown that only 5% of the knowledge is going to be retained. Yet, if you present the same knowledge in a game-based format, meaning you turn your content into a mobile game, you can get up to 70% knowledge retention. So when you do benefits education, studies have shown that game-based interaction or engagement might now be more effective than normal face-to-face integration. So what is the impact for business and what is the impact for you as employee benefits provider? Firstly, we are never going back to the old ways of work. So if you ever thought that once the pandemic is over, whether it's 2022 or 2023, everybody's going to go magically back to the office working 5 days a week, it's certainly not going to happen. Businesses have already seen the benefits of remote work and hybrid working. So going forward, businesses and you as employer benefits providers need to deal with a hybrid workforce, people working asynchronous working hours, in other words, not even in the same time zones, in different locations. It's going to be very, very challenging to onboard new members in this type of environment. So in the future, with the hybrid working model, employers will have employees that don't work in the office regularly. So it is a big impact it's going to have. So this is a major challenge for employer benefits providers that need to assist their clients in onboarding these employees successfully onto the medical aid or onto the Provident Fund or maybe life insurance benefits. But you need to do this successfully. But everybody's not going to be in the office. They're going to be all across. So it's a major challenge for employee benefits providers. So from our experience, let's look at the top 3 challenges that we are seeing companies are struggling with onboarding. And I'm sure employee benefits providers have the same challenges. Firstly is benefits education. People need to make informed choice regarding which Provident Fund they want to go to, which fund they want to invest in. When it comes to medical aid, there's various different medical aids. They need to have an education to the new member before they can make the choice. It was already a massive challenge even before COVID. Within COVID, this is a major challenge. Benefits administration. The employee benefits industry, the same as the human resource industry, is highly regulated with legislation, and highly regulated industries need administration, formal administration, where people fill in forms. That could be a challenge if everybody's not in the office at the same time, at the same place. And then, of course, continuous member support. Not just do you have a chance of onboarding new members, but if you're going to be the provider for Standard Bank or Nedbank, and they've got 15,000 people working all across South Africa, never coming into the office at the same time, really engaging with these people is going to be a challenge. So then, now that we've created the context, we've seen the environment, and we've unpacked the 3 challenges, let's have a quick discussion about what the challenge is all about, and maybe how we can overcome these challenges. Firstly, let's look at benefits education. As you know, you as the benefits provider, you have the responsibility to ensure new members make an informed choice. We have seen that uninformed decisions lead to disgruntled members. Coming from an HR environment, I have seen that when new employees are onboarded, they make a choice regarding a medical aid or Provident Fund or something. By the time they need to claim, let's say for a medical aid, there was an accident at home and the kid needed to go into hospital. If the benefits they thought they have does not reflect what they actually have, they become disgruntled. As you know, they will start funding contact centers, and there's a big client relationship challenge that employer benefit members and providers face with, just because a member is disgruntled because they might have made a choice and they didn't really understand the impact of that choice. When they maybe leave the company and they need to transfer their Provident Fund, or they want to withdraw the Provident Fund. Also, if they didn't understand everything, it leads to disgruntled members, and disgruntled members lead to enhanced operations. You need to spend more time with those type of members to solve the issues. So, I mean, even before COVID, let's be honest, doing this benefit education has been a challenge, because it was basically impossible for brokers to be available all the time whenever new employees is being onboarded. I used to work for a very large technology concern. They have over 14,000 employees in South Africa spread all over, and various business units. So as you know, operationally, line managers recruit people all the time. So you won't have people starting on the first day of the month all the time, or the 15th. People start at any point in time. Now, what this organization did, and many organizations do, is it's almost up to the HR department to sort of guide the new employee on what benefits they have and make a choice. Yeah, sure. Our organization had once a month, I think that first week, they do have education sessions. So then you could go to a central place inside the town or inside this province where you could meet the broker of the service provider and ask them questions. The problem is, very often by the time the session happens, due to payroll requirements, all the forms are already filled in. So the new member already made the choice. They already chose a provident fund. They already chose a medical aid. And as you know, you could probably make a change only once per year. So even once they actually get the education, it's now too late for them to make a change. They have to wait until next year, which again leads to disgruntled members. So even open days, as I just said, doesn't mean that people are getting the advice they need on time. So now this change is even worse in a hybrid working place, because previously these people were coming to the office 5 days a week. So you sort of could make a plan. The broker could make themselves available as much as they can. Now you can get people that will never come into the office because the head office is based in Canton, but they're working from George or in Bloemfontein or in Polokwane, all across South Africa, and they're never going to come into the office. So it is a massive, massive, massive challenge. So how can we solve this? We believe that if we embrace the power of online and game learning, that is where we could maybe solve this problem. Is we can turn learning about benefits into a game. The most practical solution to benefits in education is to embrace the breakthroughs made by online and game-based education the past 2 years. So what has happened during the COVID pandemic? Many organizations, and I'm not just talking about educational employer benefits, they had to train their employees, whether it's induction training or continuous training. People need to train. Schools had to teach scholars. Universities had to teach students. So what we've seen over the past 2 years, there's been a proliferation of new online learning technologies that came through, and the advancements has been very exciting. Gone are the days where your learning management system or the content that you interact with is just like a normal video in a web-based thing. Your online learning and game-based learning has made massive strides forwards, and then it has succeeded in turning any type of content into a learning game, especially game-based learning. And game-based learning, we're referring to companies that turn content into a mobile game. So it is physical, a game. You play a game with avatar, with points and badges, all that type of stuff, while engaging and being assessed on the content. So game-based technologies, and let's be honest, even the more basic online learning services counterpart like learning management service actually provide the perfect tool for employer benefits providers to educate employees. You can take the control there. So in other words, you can to your clients provide a link or maybe a app, and a new member can download a game from the App Store, and then they can play a game where they get educated about the employer benefits before they make. So all that a new employee needs to do is they need to play the game, then before they make the choice regarding what medical aid, what provident fund or other benefits they need to go through. So employees could actually play this game even before their first day. So especially in a white collar environment, if people accept a job offer, there's normally a 2-week or 30-day period before they start the new the new role at the new employer, and then they've got 2 weeks anyways in that space normally to fill in your payroll papers. So you can create these games or create a link to LMS that can actually be sent to the new employee way before their first day So what happens is, before the payroll papers, the payroll administration needs to be done, you can ensure that the new member had their benefit education, so they make an informed choice regarding their employer benefits. Okay, let's look at the second challenge, benefits administration. Digitization is only the first step. And what we have seen, especially during COVID, is that digitization is not equal to engagement. I mean, think about how many Zoom meetings you've been, or MS Teams meetings you've been. It's digitizing the meeting, but it's not necessarily engaging. How many times do people just put their camera off, put themselves on mute? There's a meeting happening, but they're on emails and do 10,000 other things. They're simply not engaged in that type of meeting. So we've digitized the meeting, but it's not necessarily engaging. It's the same thing with the employee benefits administration. We might have taken paper-based forms and digitized that, but it's not necessarily an engaging thing. So on the one hand, we have seen it's very encouraging, especially over COVID, how many employers have embarked on digitization all their HR processes. That's digitization of the onboarding process as well. We have to fill in, instead of a piece of paper, on a digitized form, all your, let's say your new employee form, your personal particulars. And then, of course, a lot of employee benefits providers have digitized their application forms for their benefits. So that is great on the one hand. On the other hand, it's not shocking for us when we deal with employers, how many of them still are on paper-based administration when it comes to onboarding, which includes then, of course, your employer benefits. What we've also seen is a lot of time, although the employee benefits providers do have a digitized form, that is not necessarily integrated via APIs and other very, very, very simple tools to make sure the information goes into payroll or something else. So what happens is still a duplication of processes happening. People need to fill in the employee benefits forms, and then that needs to be sent to the HR person. Somebody in HR needs to manually take that form, type that type of stuff into payroll before they then manually email that form over to the employee benefit provider. So there's still duplication and very manual data manipulation happening in this process. So what is happening, even with digitization, for the end user, which is the new member, and for the client, which is your HR people or your finance people needing to data capture everything, benefit administration is still a very, very bad user experience. So what can we do with benefits administration is we could use gamification principles that can make benefits administration more fun. Yeah, we're not talking about game-based. It's gamification. It's where you use the principle of games, but in a normal business process, and you implement that in that. So what we say the solution here is that employer benefits providers can learn from the masters of human engagement, and those are game creators. There's a reason why games are so addictive. So whether we talk about mobile games like Candy Crush that we play on our mobile phones, or console games like Fortnite that we play on PlayStation, or even card games like poker or blackjack, they all use game mechanics to manipulate human emotion to keep them engaged. What do we mean by that? It's simple things like rewards, points. You do something in Candy Crush, you get a point. You have a hand in poker, you win a hand. Leaderboards, level up, badges, unlocks, missions, social interaction. Like when you chat, you can belong to a team or social community on Candy Crush. When you play card games, you play it with friends. All of those things, it trigger human emotions, like a sense of achievement, like when you level up, or when you earn a badge, or when you win a hand in blackjack, is a sense of achievement, recognition of progress, need for social recognition, thirst for exploration and excitement, even surprise. That human emotions, games unlock at human emotions, and when we get that human emotion, serotonin is released in our brain says, keep doing this, I like it. So we keep on playing these games. So we need to learn, employee benefit providers need to learn from this game mechanics and employ this same type of game mechanics in the employer benefits administration process. So what we're saying, once you've digitized your onboarding administration, which is the first step, it's a very important step. But then the next step is to gamify that process, is to add point systems and badges and unlocks and missions inside your employer benefits process. And that would turn digitization into real engagement. So what we're saying is here, don't just stop at level 1, upgrade to the next level. The third and last challenge that we need to talk about is the continuous member support. Because once you onboarded a new member onto your employee benefits, that's just the start of the journey. There's going to be continuous engaging, and you have to maintain that personal engagement with all the members. And the reason why you need to engage is a couple of reasons. Firstly, employer benefits providers need to cultivate brand loyalty, because that employee might not stay with that employer forever. They might leave that employment in 2 years or 4 years or 5 years. And when they leave, they might go to the private sector, or they might go to employer that doesn't have any formal employer benefits, meaning you want to retain that client as a paid member. So you don't want, when they leave, that they go to another medical aid or provident fund. You want to keep that person as a paid for member. So you need to cultivate brand loyalty. So when they leave the employer, they still believe that you're the best service provider for that specific benefit, and they would stay with you. The second thing is, we all know that throughout careers, members' needs change. So born of new children, they need to add more beneficiaries to the medical aid and make changes to provident fund. As they maybe grow, they want to change the investment fund from aggressive to moderate, or they want to change the percentages and invest more. So all of these things, meaning that throughout their career, the needs change. So the service that you can provide to them change. So you need to maintain that constant contact with them. So what we're saying is that employer benefit providers who succeed in maintaining engagement in a hybrid working environment, their business is going to thrive. Employer benefits providers that is not going to adapt their business and are going to fail to engage with people in hybrid working, in a hybrid working environment, that's the main challenge here, is those people are going to struggle to keep members, and they're also always going to struggle with disgruntled members, and disgruntled members go to their employer, and their employer might decide to go to another benefits provider if you struggle to engage with new members. So what do we need to do in order to overcome this challenge? Is we need to blend human engagement with on-demand digital support. One thing also that COVID has taught us is that even when we go digitized and we go remote, people still want to interact with other people. They still want that contact, even face-to-face physical contact with other humans. They want to talk with other humans. So we can't take that totally away. So the whole broker and platform, the whole interaction will never get away. But as we know, in a hybrid working environment, your broker that needs to deal with members, they won't be able to interact with everyone face-to-face all the time. So we need to complement it. So you need to ensure that you can provide support when and where members need it. So if somebody, again, the head office is in Johannesburg, your broker is based in Johannesburg, but there are employees scattered in Bloemfontein and George again, and wherever they are, you need to be able to provide them with the support when and where they need. So we need to find innovative ways of maintaining that engagement with members. And we've already seen members implementing things like chatbots that can provide, that a chatbot is a wonderful, amazing tool that allows that 24/7 engagement. It also helps for users like millennials that is used to gamification, that's used to instant gratification. Having a chatbot, so 10 o'clock at night, if they've got a question regarding medical aid, they can jump into the chatbot and get their answer. But we need to enhance that. So as a minimum, like I said, everyone, if you don't have a chatbot, you need to invest in a robust, not a basic, a robust chatbot that can engage with your members 24/7. However, benefit providers need to move beyond chatbots and need to find better ways to replicate that type of human engagement when the human engagement is not there. So there's been lots of advancements in virtual tools like 3D virtual offices, virtual reality, augmented reality. All these tools can actually now be deployed to give the user sitting in George the same type of interaction, the same type of engagement that they almost would have got when they engage with a real human being. So it's not just about the text, it's not just about the chatbot providing an answer, it's about the experience. What is that experience going to be like? And we need to start thinking about 3D, virtual reality, and all those type of things. So I want to emphasize again that if you're going to succeed in maintaining engagement through virtual reality or 3D business tools, that your business is going to thrive. Benefits providers that's not going to do that, they're going to run into trouble. So let's look at the conclusion. So what have we spoken before I get to the end? The workplace has been steadily changing for the past few years. So millennials will still be the larger demographic segment. So there's been a change. The way millennials engage with us have changed. However, it was the sudden changes brought by COVID that caught everyone off guard. So there was slow, gradual change, and then quick change happening, which you all need to adapt. You as an employer benefit provider need to adapt your onboarding operations to meet 3 challenges in the hybrid working environment. These challenges are benefits education, benefits administration, and continuous member support. How are we going to solve these challenges? Is by embracing the power of game-based learning, by gamifying your processes, and employing virtual engagement tools such as 3D or virtual reality inside your processes. We quickly just want to give an example of such a virtual onboarding product. I'm going to play you a quick video. This is just to spark your creativity a bit about what is possible when we get to onboarding and changing the onboarding environment. So looking at a tool like this, you could have your own virtual employer benefits onboarding platform that you can provide to your clients as a value add. So you can build your own with your own branding, whether it is a animated or maybe even 360 images of your own head office. And it can help clients onboard new members successfully onto your specific employee benefits. It could boost new member engagement, but of course we can build in continuous engagement rooms or interactions in this virtual 3D platform for you. So if you're interested in something like that, please contact TWS Tech today. That is the email address. We also got a stand here in the EBnet conference. So please feel free to interact with us. Thank you so much for watching this video, and good luck with facing all these challenges in the hybrid working environment. Enjoy the rest of the EBnet 2021 conference.